Having a hero is not necessarily a bad thing, but
having a hero? Ooh. But now I kind of want to show you guys a video.
The principle on...
Now I kind of want to show you guys a video that exists. Oh, yeah. Chat. If you guys hurt me in the future, I'm going to use this on you. I just want you to know this is a tool in my tool belt now against chat. That's mine now. That's mine now. Chat, be nice!
Realizing that hero is perfect or infallible, that's where a society starts to develop its cracks. That's where we start to fail ourselves.
I couldn't possibly do that. That's Danzy level stuff. I couldn't possibly do that to you tonight. You guys, I'm gonna send it. Come on.
We absolutely should recognize the achievements of those who came before us and the path that they paved to allow us to live the way that we do now. But when we place importance on them as role models, we fail.
I feel like we need even more volume from this guy.
Ourselves and our children. We teach them that perfect champions arise out of our own ranks to save us from the metaphorical prisons built around us. Those heroes, even my heroes, made mistakes that should never be celebrated, but sometimes are. Having statues or monuments dedicated to these names erodes us as a people because we create an expectation that these names represent ideal versions of humans, a level of status to which we should all strive to achieve. But those heroes that we venerate in the modern godless world are more than often examples of some of the worst evils we have ever endured.
Agreed.
It really would be better to idolize a fake god over a real man. In George Washington's home state of Pennsylvania, it was illegal to own a slave older than the age of 28 for more than 6 months.
He's going to talk about how he used the travel laws to avoid this.
Yet every 6 months, George Washington would send his slaves across the border and back and say that this would count towards a new 6-month period. At the time of his death, George Washington owned 123 human beings. And then you carved his head on the side of a mountain. The Declaration of Independence is a great example of this disconnect between reality and the dream of a perfect society. My last video about the banks highlights the fallacy of the American dream, showing how it exists against a system designed to keep you struggling to survive. If all of your energy goes towards just trying to feed yourself every month, you'll never have the time to self-actualize. You were sold this system as an alternative to the iron fist of the royal power in Europe, but this dream was never actually meant for you. Are you crazy? You're nobody to them. But we're all created equally, I hear you screaming. The premise of American freedom was formulated by slave-owning aristocrats who wanted to rule a nation separate from the royals.
He is gone 2 minutes and 39 seconds, and I haven't heard one objectionable thing. Best video so far, Greg. He's a little preachy and white savior-y, but, you know, whatever.
They never meant for you to achieve power or to rule through capital. That's for the guys that they printed on the money. Politics is for the rich, my friends. Never forget that. The money literally tells you. The idea that you can grind to succeed is made impossible today with the mass accumulation of funds held even by just the wealthiest of business tycoons.
Great
like
stuff.
Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos. Trickle-down economics was never really meant to work unless that was always supposed to evolve into working in a 2x2 foot cage for 8 hours a day on a factory floor, being forced to urinate in a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, he gets it.
Just to meet demands? The American dream is a lie. You see it on TV, so you think it can happen to you, but it only happened to 1%. And that 1% still has it all. Remember, this is a cartoon character. I wiggle him around on the screen to be silly. But sorry, this one I don't think is going to be very funny. This video is going to cover a very frustrating and dehumanizing issue. And just as a disclaimer, this video is absolutely going to offend some people here. It's an it is what it is sort of thing. thing. I think that when we get to that point in the video, you'll understand that I'm saying it the way that it needs to be said. But here's the hook though, just to make absolute sure I am not burying the lead. The 13th Amendment was passed in January of 1865, described as the final constitutional solution to slavery in the United States.
Oops.
It states, quote, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall be duly convicted.
Yeah, which is insane. Insane. We should abolish this.
Shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. I know that when you read this, it kind of sounds like it's saying that slavery is illegal in the United States.
No.
But read that again, my friends. Slavery is illegal, ... except for
Canadians reading the Constitution for the first time. Adorable.
prisoners. So what this means is, this sentence is actually saying that slavery is legal in the United States.
Yes. And, as such, this is why the response to slavery from the South was to claim high black crime rates. Because they wanted their property back. And that became a linchpin of social understanding and, like it was in your best interest to do that. And also they were, like, bitter. And so, like, that's essentially where a lot of racism comes from, is just this notion right here. The first cops were slave catchers / people that turned into this kind of job where you would be like, oh, are there any slaves across the border? We got to take them back. Like, absolute insanity, dude.
Do you understand? Just because a sentence begins and concludes with a positive statement does not mean that that sentence is actually affirming that statement. So if I said, nobody here has a blue shirt except for Larry, then what I'm really saying is Larry has a blue shirt. Larry is a slave. This amendment actually legalized
Blue shirt slave.
Slavery in your country. As far as the law is concerned, prisoner equals slave.
Yes.
America, the land of the free. Ironically, no, the land of the most incarcerated people on earth.
Yes.
More than any other nation. Holy shit. You guys break all the wrong records.
Yep.
And think about the logic here. Slave labor is still employed in the United States today in the private prison system, justified as punishment. Private?
Yep. Dude, Greg's cooking. This doesn't take conspiracy theory stuff. This is all real. Do you see what happens when you just apply reality?
Prison owners functionally, legally own slaves today.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know it, several
And the... Hey, that's a Michigan play. Yeah.
industries have become dependent on prison labor,
Yep.
meaning there is now incentive for the prison system to
Yep.
create recidivism within the population. Basically,
Cooking!
they have incentive to give convicts no
smoke
choice but to
check for
return
Greg,
to the
bro.
prison again, to be
When was this?
slave labor.
When was this video? 3 months ago. Only 35,000 people watched it. His best video ever. Thumbs up. I will rescind this if I have to, but you get one for now, dude.
Again. So if today we've got private prison owners encouraging their guards to beat the shit out of their inmates, then punish them afterwards with unpaid labor, explain to me how that's any better than what they had going on in the plantations.
It's not. I mean, it's a little bit better, but not really. It's a little bit. It's better.
It has the juice?
It's better. It's better in that there are protections, but, like, let's be real, it's not good. Like, let's also be real. It's 100% better than chattel slavery, but it's not bad. It's not good. It's a bad thing. No, it's definitely way better than that, but it's very bad. It's a terribly low bar. This is
One of the biggest justifications used in the slave industry was the Bible. Slavery is legal under biblical law, which is why the King James Bible was used to subjugate black people in the United States.
That's right.
The film 12 Years a Slave highlighted this. One of the slave drivers very condescendingly describes that a slave owner is a...
This is a good movie, but it's also it's like, not torture porn, but it's that era of, like, I don't know, just black suffering, you know, black suffering movie. It's good though, it really is.
Allowed to beat a slave to death as long as he does not die that
Oscar
same day.
bait. Yeah.
But the Bible doesn't say anything about kidnapping an entire peoples from their land. It doesn't say anything about robbing disgraced noble bloodlines of their identity, selling an entire peoples down the Congo River and forcing them to adopt a new culture within yours, breeding them like their livestock, trading and selling their children off. Now, biblical slavery absolutely was evil, and I'm very glad that it was abolished. But there were several instances throughout a slave's career that they were supposed to be allowed to be freed, such as specific holidays, all things that were never recognized within the United States. We talked about the Lost Boys a few months back, but I didn't explain how the prison system factors into all of that. In a perfect world, we should not even have to deal with these issues in the first place. A world where we're all socialized normally and raised together as a big family. Instead, today we're institutionalized, separated from our family structures, pitted against each other from a young age, trained to struggle against a world in a system that was never going to reward us in the end for all of our hard work.
Do you recognize that this is capitalism, by the way? Like, it really is. I feel like he's not quite there. It sounds like we're about to, like, skip off the surface again. You know? God. Like, he did use the term, like, surfing capital earlier, so maybe he's trying not to be, like, overt or something. I'm on the edge of my seat, to be honest. Like, when's the other shoe gonna drop, right?
Any kind of institutionalized education is going to be inherently abusive, as its function necessitates reforming people's minds, teaching them to be functioning members of a greater societal machine.
I don't think it needs to be necessarily abusive at all. To socialize people? Nope. The way I would do school would be different, okay? Let me think. I've never actually thought if I would do school reform, how I would do it. Number one thing is it would be later in the day. So would the work day, though. Like, I honestly think Sarah and I have been waking up early for us because our sleep schedule used to be assholes. Like, you know, early afternoon. Before noon, roughly, although today I slept in. But, like, it's been, you know, 10:30-ish, plus or minus an hour or so. And it's just been perfect, man. If I was a teenager, I feel like 11 a.m. or so start time, like 11 to 4, I don't need much more than that. I don't think most people need more than that. And then you can do your, you know, after school activities and whatever. I don't know, man. The way classes work and stuff is structured specifically to make you a good worker, not to make you a good societal person. There should be discussions of, like, consent, not necessarily just sexual. Literally just always consent. Like, hey, can you do that for me? Can I sit here? Like, having people cooperate and learn to creatively think in spaces and not necessarily just have to memorize stuff. Like, it's a little soul-sucking when you teach a lesson plan and you want to teach the story of, like, the French Revolution, but also the test says they have to know blank, 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 you know what I mean? Like, for their standardized state test at the end of the shit, and it's like, it's so stupid. I really don't think that that's the way we should do it. You can have federal expectations and just have a federal liaison. One employee or two employees or more, depending on the load of the students you have. My school would probably only need one that I was growing up in. have a person or two that oversee these things and just be like, okay, well, what's the kind of environment we're trying to foster for kids? And just like, I think most people agree, not most, I mean, most people, but not some people, you know, most people agree kids need to be in a comfortable space and they need to be, you know, safe and just learning useful shit. Jake knows teacher words. Lesson plan. Well, yeah, I mean, I taught for a bit. So, I don't know, just the whole way we do it, the structure of it isn't very good. I feel like maybe whole days with one of the people would be good. Like one of the teachers. Like, Monday you go to this class and we just do this for a while. And so you can really dig in and really get a concept. You know what I mean? And it would be like, you know, 4-ish hours with a break. It'd be like going to college, you know? And I feel like college was really helpful. The structure of college was way better, in my opinion. Especially because I took like, just since we're talking about how to make this work better. I'm thinking like, I think this is an important topic that we should probably have an answer to if we want to change it. Because the education system does suck. The college set is a little bit better. It's not exactly how I would do it, but I do like that. Usually, if you had a long class, professors are just people, right? Then they wanna we'll take a break. I don't know, an hour or two in. We can bullshit, and then when we're here, we can talk about the topic and we can learn about it. And you have questions, and I'm here to teach you. That's the whole thing. It's just. It's approached in such a way to make people little fucking worker bees, man.
So often children are set up to fail right from the start. I mentioned before in my SNL video how impoverished neighborhoods in the United States have terrible schools and fail their students into the prison system frequently. This is the first tragic step to recidivism. The adherence to the system and faith that it will take care of you and your family. The more detached an ethnic people are from the baseline or from the societal norm, the more abusive the institutional reform has to be in order to fit their student's mind into the cultural expectation. That's
yeah. I mean, not using any of the lefty words as a covert op.
Why all those native residential schools were so fucking terrible. Even if you could hypothetically hire teaching staff that wanted to be loving to the native children, it would still require them to commit cultural genocide and rob those children of their identities and their connection to their own history and peoples. Then the next step is the institution of the prison system, which we would like to believe offers some form of rehabilitation for its prisoners, yet we find time and time again that they are dehumanized, broken, and abandoned on an entirely new level.
Literally, prison should be mental health space and like, okay, again, something we should talk about as lefties. If someone is a dangerous person, it makes sense to do the bars thing and keep them in a cell, protecting other people from them if they're a violent criminal, right? I'm fine with that. Prison to be abolished. It has nothing to do with like sequestering someone for a time to figure shit out. What should be happening during this time is fucking therapy. Like literally, why are we acting out? What are we doing here? What is causing this? So that for several reasons, okay? Number one, it's not to be nice to fucking criminals. I know, like, every fucking man, I can hear Dave, like, fucking talking about this now. Or someone like him. You just want to fucking be nice to criminals? I hear that shit all the time when any leftists say, like, abolish prison. I don't really have, like, emotional desire to help someone that is harming another person, right? And I'm not just talking about violent criminals, like, you know, someone that robs somebody, whatever. Coldly, I think it makes a lot of sense because I live in society and I'm a guy that would like to have a good society to live in. Surprise. I think for the benefit of society, it makes a lot of sense that if someone is arrested or, otherwise sequestered, that we should figure out why they're committing the crime, number one. Not be like, hey, you committed the crime. Huh? And you're going to get in trouble. So do you think if people weren't met with punitive fucking, like, just punishment, just straight up punishment, even if you do some time, right? Even if it's like, look, we have to, for violent crime, we have to spend a year with you, like, minimum, figuring out what the fuck's going on with you, because we can't just let murderers fucking roam free. Where does this come from? What's going on? What is your side of the story? And, like, sometimes it's going to be like, look, this is a piece of shit. Sometimes people are pieces of shit. It's totally a thing. No one is a piece of shit for no reason, though. I would love to know the reason, as a guy that lives in society. That way we can prevent stuff from happening, right? We can identify, ooh, this keeps cropping up in society. 89% of drug dealers report financial stress. I wonder what we could do. Thank you, McPlatypus. I have it on the side. We'll look at it later.
All in the name of justice. I grew up listening to Snoop and Dre, Cypress Hill. Those were just some of the guys that taught.
He's so cool, Snoop and Dre. You know, we're on a first name, sort of nicknamey basis.
Taught me how to be.
You know what I'm saying? Snoop, Dre, my dogs. D-O-double-G. Marcus offline getting 50 biddies to the C-O-double-B. Is now a bad time to mention that every time I see Armored Skeptic, I can only think of Harold Penisman. No, because I was Harold Penisman. And you're right.
Be a rebel when I was a kid. And sometimes I look.
Wait, did he literally say he was a rebel?
Hill. Those were just some of the guys that taught me how to be a rebel when I was a kid.
Oh my fucking god. And he's down here talking like this when he says it. God, he's so fucking cool. Dude, he's like the dreamiest guy in like a teenage drama. Oh my god. Dude, this is why... I don't want to say this about Greg because I don't think it's true. Other people who are not Gregory, who have Gregory's exact vibe, spend a lot of time around high school girls. Isn't that weird?
Dre, Cypress Hill. Those were just some of the guys that taught me how to be a rebel when I was a kid. Right. And sometimes I look back and I wonder how many kids ended up throwing away their entire lives because some of those guys told them to smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day. I literally smoke weed every day.
How many kids ended up stuck in the prison system forever because smoking weed is cool?
Smoking weed is super cool, and it shouldn't be illegal. It's interesting, the liberal mind. Here's where it starts to fall apart, huh? It was actually the hippity hop.
We all took those risks back then. How did Biggie put it? Smoking blunts was a daily routine since 13.
Oh my fucking god, bro. This is so fucking incredibly giga cringe. It is. That's fucking. I need more. This is a donation. This is a donation sound.
How did Biggie put it? Smoking blunts was a daily routine since 13. I was a fat kid smoking weed too. MTV taught me.
If you give me that from Armored Skeptic, I'm going to make that the 420-bit noise.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
I'll make it the 420-bit noise immediately. Equilibrium, give one a hoss, man. Thank you. God, he's so fucking cool. My panties are dropping. Dude, he's so cool. What a cool guy.
Me to be a rebel. It felt meaningful to understand that the world was fucked up and that we can rise above that we can rebel from that. The world first sort of woke up to this cultural issue back during the crack wars.
Crack wars. I love it. I love that a man named Gregory Fleur is talking about the crack wars. It's like he was there, dude. I listened to Cypress Hill a little bit, you know. What was that one? There's a song on my baseball game. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. What's the scenario? That's the hippity hop we got in my neighborhood, brother. Huh? Coming to the cookout? Huh? Raisins in the macaroni salad? Anybody? Huh? The hip hop. The hippity hop. Wait, what was that? It's fucking... The kick. Punch. With the hip hop. Parappa the Rappa. Huh? You guys know.
In the 80s, when it was revealed that the Crips and the Bloods were almost
Tribe Called Quest, yeah.
pitted against each other over a narcotic that the CIA was intentionally allowing to be trafficked into the United States.
That's true! You should be a leftist, not a liberal. I don't know why you can't take the step. This is interesting. It's interesting that people can know that. You should watch this video and now you're a leftist. You're like, oh, I'm a leftist now. Shit. Well, fuck, I guess I'm a leftist. Whoops.
The whole
What else is fucked up?
thing could have been avoided, but the black community was made victim.
Okay, look. Hey, can I get an ACAB in chat? Number one. Can I get an ACAB in chat, baby? ACAB in chat, baby. Where's it at? Where's it at? All I got is my chef. There we go. Hey, cabbies. Hey, cabbies in chat, please. Let's get them. Very nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Also, number 2, great mustache growth. Like, seriously, genuinely really great.
To some other grand scheme that never paid off. And not one person ever
I choose to believe that these are 2 actors in a pornographic film.
Saw consequences for that, except for the people who participated in the war. And this is not about drugs. I legitimately do not know anyone who smokes more weed than I do.
Me.
I'm all for weed reform, and I think anyone currently sitting in jail right now for personal possession should be let out and have their records expunged immediately.
Cool, man. Me too.
In fact, you need major reform on all of your non-violent crimes in the United States. People get thrown into a pit to die over entirely forgivable offenses. But that is how the system gets you. That's how the monster consumes you, my friends.
Yup.
They try to trap you into adopting behaviors and attitudes that they can use against you. They can now cram you into an identity.
This is literally... Like, when you say this right here, this is what people talk about with, like, the trans rights issue. You know what I mean? Like, you're taught, this is gender theory. This is woke. Okay? I'm just tossing this out there. Where it's really not hard to be, like, an intersectional leftist. You just gotta think with your brain.
And hate you for being a member of that identity. And then when you act out of frustration against their unfair system, they can turn around and say that they were always right about you from the very beginning and lock you away for being bad. People get disappeared into prison systems all of the time for being undesirable members of society. You know this is true, and this is why the black population is overrepresented in prisons in the United States.
True.
That's the uncomfortable truth that no one is willing to say. But when you look at it from an out
Nobody was willing to say, I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. 100 biddies. And given a lump sum of on the way out equivalent of a percentage of all cannabis state tax revenue made while they were in prison. Oh, thank you for that. When did this video come out? 3 months ago. Nobody! Look, I feel as though there's been a conversation or 2 about this topic long before the internet existed. You should listen. Look. In fact, I would say probably some black folks had some opinions pretty loud that we should maybe listen to way back, long before you or I existed on this topic.
Outside perspective, it's impossible to see it any other way. Recently, Joe Biden signed an order that's supposed to end the privatization of the prisons and turn it into a federally run program, which hypothetically could end a lot of these issues. But in reality, could also just change the motivations and justifications that the prisons use to incarcerate people.
I agree.
Just
Greg,
change
there's
the
literally a System of a Down song about this made in 2001. Ooh, System of a Down. They also weren't the first people, but yeah.
form of abuse and their motivation behind creating recidivism. The music industry has even been accused of incentivizing its artists to create works that encourage illegal behavior. But when people looked into it, it was revealed that several labels own stocks in private prisons, and the way that a lot of these stocks are structured is they don't pay off unless the prisons are at least 90% capacity. Rewind the video 10 seconds and listen to that again, please.
Okay. Boop, boop.
They don't pay off unless the prisons are at least 90% capacity. Rewind the video 10 seconds and listen to that again, please.
Okay. Boop, boop.
Don't pay off unless the prisons are at least 90% capacity.
Boop, boop.
What heard music you listen to? I've listened to drill music too, and some of that is the greatest shit I ever heard.
He keeps doing this thing? He keeps doing this fucking shit? I don't know, Greg. I don't know, Grigori.
The point I'm making, I think, is just things have changed, definitely. The guys I remember growing up with, they would...
Oh, you remember growing up with these guys?
Talk about that stuff in the past tense. Like they're proud that they got out of it, almost. Explaining how they became a product of their environment. But the modern guys, they're chaotic. They're in your face about it. There's constant gun noises in the backtrack. And
the modern guys? God, he's so fucking cool. I'm so glad that you said it. Look, I was embarrassed to say that I thought he was cool. I'm glad that you were like, God, he's cool. I know. He's just so fucking cool, dude. You can't cuss? What are you talking about? You're a dad. I decided that I can't be fake that long. It was too hard. It was too hard. Sometimes we dip in and out, though. Because sometimes we need dad.
And they're making fun of guys that don't do it as well. They're making fun of you. If you don't understand what I'm saying about the demoralization of the black community in the United States, you absolutely have to watch the film Boys and the Hood from 19...
Bro, I just... Look, alright, it's time for dad, like I was saying. Look, welcome to the cookout, kids. As you can see, there's a few black people in the crowd, which means, it's a safe place to hang out. Welcome. We are a diverse space here, okay? And as I can see, Gregory, you're an awkward white guy. Huh? Yeah, okay, I can tell. Awkward white guy is a thing that happens from time to time. Now, it's something to be embarrassed about, and you should change it, okay? All right, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We should change this about your personality. It's not an ideal one. Okay, so this what you're doing? What you're doing here? Oh, guys, I got high and watched Boys in the Hood, and then I decided to make this video. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to say, hey, look at me. I'm one of the good whites. Just let your actions speak. You know. They'll let you know. They'll let you know. You don't have to tell them to observe you. You can just be yourself. Not everything's a performance for everyone, Greg. Okay. We got some biddies here. He's so cool, I can feel my soul leaving this mortal coil from how effing cool he is. He is cool. Greg, you're a very cool guy. Everyone likes you. I mean, not everyone. But that's something you got to live with and learn to live with. This doesn't have to happen. We could just be like, yep, I've seen the movie. It's good. Not, Not you should get your information of the black experience from this movie. Just talk to people that don't look like you and that didn't come from where you're from. Okay? Just talk to people. That's it. Anyone that has a different experience, then you talk to them, ask them about stuff. You'd be surprised to learn that you don't know a lot of stuff. Greg's True rap song. Oh, fuck. Oh, True. Fuck. Bars. Right.
I hope you really have a fantastic day.
Equilibrium, well, thank you so much for giving one to Crack Hammer. Is that a little hammer you use to break up your crack? You got a little lump of crack and you take a hammer and you crack it up?
It has the juice.
Scorptane, thank you so much for the 100 biddies, but Daddy's so cool and controversial and different. Now, look, Scorptane, I understand that sometimes you're going to see a guy in all black with his long curly hair, not actually Ice Cube, but the other one, Gregory, if he looks like Gregory. I understand, like, Chris Angel to a teenager might feel edgy, but to me, just live the way you want to live, okay? You don't gotta be a little creeping weirdo. Just be who you are. If you're an edgy little boy, dress edgy, but you don't gotta be edgy. You know what I mean? You can be wholesome. More bits for the wrong link fixed. Uh-oh. A different one? Oh, I can't. That's as much Weird Al as I can play. But that, yeah, white and nerdy. Equilibrium, thanks again. Give one to Hamblyberg. Thank you.
1991, Lawrence Fishburne lays this exact concept out perfectly, explaining that the powers that be want you to be pathetic. They want you to be dependent on drugs and alcohol to keep you from self-actualizing, to keep you useless. They want you killing each other over chains and crack on street corners. You are playing directly into their hands. You are letting them own you. Pharaoh, oh Pharaoh.
Creep, dude.
Let my people go.
He ended that. He ended that using images of black folks behind bars, and he said the words "Let my people go." Amazing. Amazing. Applause. Applause! This is an incredible. I fucking love Greg so much. God, what a guy! What a weird little guy! He deserved that like. He did. I'm keeping it.